It's a brand new day. Hey. Wake up every morning and say, it's a brand new day. Hey. Take a good day, make it great, okay? Cause if you got some lemons, make some lemonade. Yeah, chase those clouds away. It's a brand
Welcome to Women of Abundant Wealth, where we inspire women to be healthy, wealthy, and whole. I am your host, Shamila.
And I am Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Shamila.
Why do I feel like I haven't seen you in a while?
I know, and I love your hair.
Thank you.
God. Did you have
Locks
to cut some of it?
I cut a lot of it, actually.
Did
So when I took my hair down, it was like it felt like the ends were kind of thinner and like kind of brittle. Like if I touch it, it's gonna fall off anyway. Nah, so I cut it. So I cut it, but I kept cutting it. And me, I was like, I'd kind of stop myself. I used to, when I was a loose natural before, I used to always cut my hair.
I
like
remember
my
when
hair would have been.
I did that.
When my hair would have been out here, but you know what? I heard something. Someone said something about when you have anxiety or something like that, you cut your hair a lot.
But I didn't even know I had
I
anxiety.
don't know, but I think, but maybe it's just that,
maybe
it's soothing. Cause I was getting my nails done, and my nail tech, she like did hair and everything, so she like cut this whole family's hair, right?
Oh.
And she was like, I'm just gonna do them. They kept coming back with kids and all kind of stuff. Like, can you do hair? I'm like, But I was like, you know what? I was so relaxed because I was watching her cut their hair. And it was just so relaxing to me. And I was like, dang, do I have a problem? Like, maybe I should be a hairstylist. I will cut some hair. That's why they have...
women, you would cut their hair off, huh?
Like I just want to trim. I'd be like, nah. But you know how you always say, like, your hairstylists have a like a heavy hand or like scissor hands, or what do they call it?
Happy with the
scissors. That's why. It's so soothing. I would love to do that all day.
Oh, Lord.
It'll be so relaxing for me.
Okay.
But you know what? That jar is calling my name. I think we got a tip in there.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let's see.
Let's see what the tip is.
Oh my goodness. Here you go.
All right. Get this opened
tip
up.
of the day.
Tip. Come on, tip.
Tip's getting low. Only got one per week. You act like it was so hard to take out that one tip.
I was trying to stir it up a little bit, even though it was only one.
We're going to stir it up and see what we choose.
Yes.
That's the only one we had.
Okay, so our tip of the day is you can't move forward if you keep holding on to the past. Wow, that's a good tip.
I heard that.
And then I have something that elaborates on that. It says holding on to the past, whether positive or negative, can create emotional baggage that prevents you from fully, wait a minute, can't read that. I ain't got my glasses on. What's that say?
From fully embracing the present and the future.
There you go.
Okay.
So what you think about that?
That is so true, especially when you focus a lot on the past. You know, when you focus on the past, that brings in a lot of depression.
It does.
And like if you focus on the future, that brings in a lot of anxiety. And so a lot of times when focusing on the past, it's always about the bad things. It's always about what happened to you, bad relationships. Sometimes you don't even know what you're even focusing on because you got so many stuff running through your brain. And so it's best to just kind of journal, release a lot of that. Go to therapy. I always tell people therapy is probably one of the best things I've ever done for myself. Journaling is one of the best things I've ever done. I've done, why can I not?
I've never did either. So
it's
you know
good,
what? I take that back. I have journaled back in the past.
It's hard to, when it comes to journaling, it's hard because people are like, okay, what do I say? And they don't want to just feel like they're talking to themselves. And so, you know, you can find a lot of questions online. Do shadow work. Shadow work is like a deep form of journaling. And so I've done that before. I mean, you do shadow work, you just be sitting there crying to yourself.
Really?
It's a lot of questions. You can find a lot of questions even about childhood. I did shadow work on like love because, you know, I started to do my whole self-love thing. Shadow work on love, especially if you've been through a lot of traumatic relationships. If you are single and you're sad because you're single, or, you know, you're having issues dealing with being single, it's good to do shadow work because you get to release a lot of that stuff And then when you're ready to start dating again, you start bringing that good energy. You're going to meet someone good. You're going to meet good people if you just want to date around. But if you holding a lot of that stuff, you attracting
You attract the wrong person.
You're
for
attracting
sure.
a lot of that negative energy. Like, you attract anything that you think about. So whether it's good or bad. So you always want to think about good things.
And then you get in this relationship and be like, what the heck is, but it's all because you keep holding on to the negative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I thought, like, I was like, oh, you know, after a relationship, I thought I was healing because, I mean, I love being by myself. And so I don't think that was ever even an issue. I just always
Right.
wanted to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
So I would attract the same people because of my thought process of being in a relationship. It doesn't matter if they're treating me bad. I love the fact that I'm in a relationship. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that person would turn around and treat me right because they see what good of a person I am, right?
Yeah.
Right? You ever had that? You think like, oh, I can change this person because I'm so good and I can do this. People
I think
would
every woman goes through that. They think they can
doing
change
the most for
somebody.
somebody who don't do anything for you because you think that it's going to make them realize, oh, she is such a good
Right.
woman or he is such a good man. But at the end of the day, that person's just going to use you.
The man only want who he wants. It doesn't matter what you do. If he don't want you, he just don't want you.
Yeah,
So.
same way with the women.
And I try to tell the
you
young
want.
ladies, you know, don't go all out for this person that's showing you that they're not really interested. I mean, yeah, they might be interested in one thing. And once you do that, then they no longer interested in you still trying to hold on or whatever. No, don't do that. Because I got granddaughters, so I want to try to.
Teach them that
Yeah.
because then people, you know, they have these guys talking to them, tell them how good they look. And
Right. That's the line that they tell everybody.
Exactly. I mean, you may look good, but doesn't mean that they want to wife you just because you look good.
Right. They look for certain qualities. Every man has a quality that they look for in a woman. So, and just because you think you pretty and all this stuff, you ain't got that quality that they want. You look cute.
Yeah, it's not only that. It's just that certain people are just not ready for some things.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have to come to a realization that you know, you dodged a bullet. Sometimes I look at
that's a good thing.
No, I looked at a lot of, you know, my past. I'm like, you feel good knowing that you got away from something. You know, you got away from someone, you didn't give them a child, so they don't have to be in your life.
Right.
Or you got away from something. There's always something good that comes out of it. So you got away from something. Even if you did have a kid together, you're no longer with that person. You're able to find somebody better.
Yep.
So it's like once you go through that, especially with someone who's not treating you good, you can't even sweat it. And I always realize too, after you break up with someone that has been treating you bad, it's hard to actually break up with them, right? But then once you break up with them, you start to kind of feel a relief. Like, have you ever had
a
that
twist
feeling?
in a relationship. I had a guy that treated me good, but he was on drugs.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't know because I ain't do drugs, so I ain't really know.
You just thought it was his
Yeah,
personality.
I'm just like, what?
Like,
why
okay.
people be changing up? What's going on here? You know, so
'Cause
I
people
really
act
tried
like
to
that
make
and
it
I'm
work
not.
because he was really good to me. He would do
Oh, wow.
anything for him. My kids wasn't his, but he loved them like they was his.
Wow.
But you know, the drugs just overpowered him.
See, that's sad. It's sad when you find something, and you do find something that's good, but either it's not, like, that person is not where they should be.
Right.
Because
yeah.
I'm sure if he were where he was sober, he would treat you even better, and your relationship would have worked. You guys would have still been together. And it's sad. It's sad when timing gets in the way.
That's the whole key. Everything is timing.
It's sad when timing gets in the way. It's like, dang.
Yeah.
Because then especially when you find that, especially if you just like, you kind of seasoned in the game too. It's like you've been dating or you've been married, and then you find someone, you be like, okay, this is it. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, dang.
But he was younger than me, so that could have been some of the,
Oh.
yeah, you know. So.
Well, do he got himself together now? Let's go find him.
No, he still don't have his stuff together.
Oh,
no,
dang.
no. So
That's
he needs to
sad.
stay right on where he at.
Yeah. Sir, get yourself together, okay? So we can get Kathy a good man. You off? Come on back now. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we can't go back.
I hate going. You know what? I don't even know why I said that because I'm the main not go back at ever. I'm like, oh, you better. Oh, okay, good for you. Go find someone
Exactly.
else. Because it's like we broke up for a reason. Sometimes you can come back though. I mean, you might come back and it might be 10 times better. You just never know. But if it, whatever works out, works out. So can't force anything.
Whatever's for you, it is for you. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we have Katrina coming on, so she's been here before.
Oh, yeah.
But we kind of want to make this episode more of like a wellness, self-care, self-love kind of episode. And so we're going to talk about her book, Color Me Perfect. And so it has a lot of gems in there. We're going to talk to her about, some of the things that she's doing now, because she's doing much more than what she was doing when you had her on the first time, about a year ago.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we're going to have Miss Katrina Marable on. Yeah.
It's a brand new day. Hey. Wake up every morning and say, it's a brand new day. Hey. Take a good day, make it great, okay? 'Cause it ain't got some lemons,
Welcome back.
lemons,
So
yeah,
you have
taste
Katrina
so
back on. Like,
good.
Katrina, you have like 1,000 different jobs.
I'm
You
not
are-
Jamaican.
Oh my God.
She
you
might
are-
seem like it.
You are an author. I can't even think. You're an author. You are a minister.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a business consultant. You do like so many different things. But the last thing, you just finished a book. And so it's an amazing book. It's called Color Me Perfect, which we'll talk about in a minute. But what I do want to talk about is I want to talk about the She Palace.
Wow, the She Palace.
Yes.
That's a whole vibe. That is a whole vibe. What do you want to know about the She Palace?
So what is the She Palace about? I feel like she and palace. What are you talking about, girl? What's that about?
The She Palace is you. Our body is a whole palace. When really just researching that, I started the group back in 2012 and grew the group. I started it for one reason. You know how you start things for one reason, but then God has a way of showing you, no, I had something much more than you thought. Well, I started it back in 2012, and it grew and it grew, and I got a lot of sponsors from the talk show and a lot of speaking engagements out of that, and was able to really just monetize that group. Well, after going through a divorce, I let the group go down for a while. And I was like, okay, I'll just leave it there. So in clearing out everything, probably about 4 months ago, I was like, I need to reactivate that group. But then I thought, no, I don't want to be bothered because I knew it grew. So I went in and I started deleting people off of there, started changing up the whole format of the group, and just being reminded of my calling that God has called me to lead leaders, that's CEOs, entrepreneurs, pastors, pastors' wives, politicians, all of those people in leadership role. And reason being is, and then women, reason being is because leaders get missed. We're always tending to our employees. We're taking care of our business. Pastors are always feeding the flock, talking, to members. And there's no one that you could really be open and share with. You cannot, as a leader, you cannot be vulnerable because people that you're sowing into, they don't understand that they can use that information against you.
Yeah.
And because you are the leader, you have to maintain some type of privacy or secrecy unless you have other leaders who understand you, who are trustworthy and loyal, that you can go to and share your heart with, because everybody doesn't need to know the leader's business. And I'm not talking about they're doing something wrong, but just even about their heart. Like if you're dealing with a disgruntled employee and you may say something, that could literally be used against you if someone gets a hold of that, if the employee wanted to take it to court.
Right.
You're pastoring all these people and you say something, you can literally get sued if someone get a hold of you just being a human for 1 minute and said, oh my goodness, what is wrong with these people? That can hurt you.
And I think we've seen a lot of that live, like when pastors or someone in leadership will say something, oh, they get attacked. Really bad.
Right. They do.
There's no grace that's shown to people who are just in the spotlight or who are in leadership, because it's like, you should know better. But it's just like, well, if you do it, it wouldn't be the same thing.
But they're humans. So
Exactly.
Yeah. Like you're saying, a human moment could happen
But that goes that you just have to be around like-minded people. And I always used to say, my grandmother used to tell us, she was like, be around people that have just as much to lose with you, lose as you, because they're not going to do things to lose it, and they'll understand. And I never understood what she meant by that until I got older and started, doing business and getting around people and started being in the public eye. And that's true. And so creating the She Palace is just being there for women who don't have nowhere else to go. Like, they seriously don't have anyone else to talk to. And I say it's a safe place. What happens here stays here. And if it's ever breached, then that woman who breached our trust or our loyalty will just have to get out of the group, because
Remove
it is
them.
to heal.
Yeah.
It's to
Yeah.
heal. And so the She Palace, we're the palace, our whole bodies. And there's a teaching that I do about teaching about every part of the woman, how it relates to being in a palace.
Wow. I love
And so
that.
having
Has
got
it
into
always been
detail-
called the She Palace, or was it named something
it
else?
was always dealing with women, but I did shift the name a little bit. Now it's the She Palace.
Oh.
Yeah.
I seen this. It was this video of like a rotten strawberry, and they put it next to another one. It was not the strawberry was fresh, two fresh strawberries, one rotten, and it showed how that rotten one got the other strawberry rotten into moved on to the other one. So it showed
Yes,
like that one
contamination.
rotten person could change the whole thing, and that's even with that one leader, they can change people too.
Just have to be set apart, not isolated, but definitely set
Set apart.
apart. And so the group is really, and I'm getting a lot of feedback, because like I said, I had to go through there and just really tailor make the group. It's not a group that anybody can just ask to join. You have to be invited, and I'd have to had some experience with you to say you can be trusted, because now I'm leading the group. Now I'm responsible for the safety of the women in the group. Like, I'm inviting you into a group, telling you it's a safe place. Now I have to make sure it really is a safe place.
So I want to talk about the key areas of inner healing. Y'all know I get deep. So I love how you have all this stuff in there. And I was speaking to Kathy earlier, and I hope I'm not disrespecting anybody, but because you are a minister. And so when I look at you as a minister, I don't see religion. And when I say that, I say it in a good way, because I see you speaking to all religions, to everyone, because we are spiritual beings first.
Right.
And so we don't
Period.
choose that. I
Right.
feel like that's my opinion on it. But I feel like we don't choose that, but we
Yeah.
do choose religion, depending on how old you are, because you can be an adult and you choose it. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't choose
so-
religion. I tell people I'm not in religion. I'm in a relationship. I'm
Yeah.
not a Christian. I am a believer in the blood of
there's a
Yeshua.
difference.
There's a difference. When people say religion or religious, there's really no such thing. I'll just go ahead and
Yeah.
say that there is no such thing as you either in a relationship with the Most High or you are not. You
Exactly.
either led of the Spirit or you are not.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. And when it comes to us labeling each other, we separate ourselves from each other.
And that's
And
what
if you look
religious
at-
does. That's
but
what
when you-
anything does. Is
But when
comes
you
to
look
divide.
at everything, and even if you don't believe in religion, a lot of people that still believe in God but are not label themselves religious, we believe in all the same things. It's all the same thing. Some people are a little more out there, or they think they maybe pray to other people, or not pray to other people. Let me turn that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I would say not pray to other people. They may believe in other deities. Excuse me.
Right.
Sorry,
But
I
they're
didn't
all
say that.
looking for the same
Same
thing.
thing.
All the
Yeah.
same thing.
They're
So
all
I
looking for the same thing.
never judge or talk about anyone. I don't care what you are, because I have friends that are different religious and different beliefs. But at the end of the day, we don't bash each other, because we believe mostly in the same
No,
thing.
we shouldn't. When Yeshua came, he
Yeah.
did not bash people. He said the truth. Now, he spoke the truth, but he didn't go say, y'all Pharisees, you don't need to do that no more. You
No,
need to
he
come and
didn't.
join me. He didn't do
Yeah.
that, because he knows that you can only follow the truth when you begin to be in a relationship with the truth, with your with the truth first and yourself second. It's God. Be in love with God first, then be in love with yourself. Nothing else is gonna work. Like,
And so-
nothing else is gonna work.
Speaking about this, the reason why I was like, I don't want to disrespect anybody, because I feel like some people will take offense to even this conversation. So
They
have you ever
will.
had someone that be like,
Always. I'm sure
no,
you
you don't know what
have.
you're talking about, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or you're like,
I've got put out of churches before. Like, seriously, me and a friend of mine, because
you got to go.
Well, they did. We got put out of churches before because I'm about being in a relationship with the Most High, Yahweh, the one true God. I'm about being in a relationship with Him. My relationship with Him, He breathed life into me. So all this other stuff that you're telling me to try to scare me, to try to get me to do something you want me to do, that's not Him. He doesn't do those things. He doesn't have to do those things, because if He's captured my heart and I've captured His heart, I'm going to do what's right based on my relationship with Him, not because you tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then it's still a slap in the face to Him, because I'm only doing it because Shamila said do it, and I'm really not with you anyways.
No, you're
Right.
not.
And that
So, yeah.
and that really goes back to like questioning too, because if you want a relationship with God, question those things and start a relationship with yourself, because that's the closest thing, right? And so, if you have any questions but you feel like you're scared to ask, just go ahead and question it, because and then be still in it so that you can get your answer.
That's true.
And I'm
That's
going to
the
go back
key.
to what you just said,
Yeah.
because when I went searching for myself, literally, I remember in the early 2000s when I finally said, okay, something's not right. I've had enough. And I knew that I had a something on my life. I knew it was something more, but I didn't know clearly what that was. So when I went searching for myself, looking for myself, what is it about Katrina? I found Him. I found Him, and I had to find Him the right way, because only He could reveal to me what was in my heart. But for me, I was searching, trying to figure out me. And in searching, I found Him. And I was like, oh, so really it's not about me, it's about you, but you use this to get to you, to find you. Well, I find you. He never was really lost, because He was in there. I just needed to let Him out.
And
people
He gives
don't
you
get
free
that.
will. I mean, it's your choice.
Yes,
to
it's
find
your
him.
choice. It's your choice.
Yeah.
There's consequences, but it
Yeah.
It's your
still
choice,
is your
yeah.
choice. Because who wants to force somebody to love them?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense. So yeah, it's
I mean,
your
if you're
choice.
doing it the right way, it's not gonna be forced.
Right.
No, and it's still in the same predicament. You godless.
Ooh, and see, look, you got my favorite thing in here, journaling. So all this stuff is in here. It is like, I think this is a book of guidance, I want to call it. It's a book of guidance because it helps with a lot of stuff, especially if you're trying to love yourself, if you're trying to heal. Like, it has journaling, meditations in here. Like it says values, affirmations, self-talk, which is one of the best things you can do. People think it's kind of silly when you do affirmations because they feel like, well, I'm saying this, I'm trying to make myself believe it. Nah, but from a person who's done affirmations, looked in the mirror, looked in their eyes and done affirmations.
Because the more you speak
see,
that in,
you
it
start to
really
believe it.
starts to-
You
yeah.
start to believe
Yeah.
it. Do it in the mirror, do it out loud, do it in your car on the way to work, turn that music off,
Yes.
do your affirmations, do it when you wake up in the morning, do it everywhere. You have a monthly planner in here. Everything is in here. And you can get this book on Stan Store. It's up right now,
On
right?
my stand store. The link will be in the.
Okay.
It'll be on here, so they'll be able to link and go and do it as an ebook.
I'm
Yeah.
interested in the bathing, the
Oh.
purpose of
Oh,
bathing.
yeah.
That's all. Everything in the book is all scriptural, and I'm making reference to that because most people think, well, the Bible don't have anything to offer. Well, I beg to differ. Everything about life.
You just hadn't heard it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just have not heard it. You haven't gotten in there and studied the deep parts of it and
Right, exactly.
digging it. Because I had to dig. I've studied the Bible for years, and some of this stuff I've had for years, and I had to dig to find this stuff. And He was leading me and guiding me, but I had to dig to find this stuff. So it's all scriptural. And what happens is the church, the religious part of the church, when I say I'll be put out, because when you teach this stuff, they'll say, oh, that's witchcraft and that's New Age. And then I'm like, how can you say that? But then I had to realize they're not studying. Some
Right,
of them
yeah.
not studying. So when you talk about bathing, and when I go in to talk about bathing, it gets really, really deep. And people are like, well, I don't think that. Yes, it's scripture. Why would you think that he had Esther and all the women in the Bible? The whole thing was there was a certain way to bathe. Before he presented them to the kings, before the men went to war, he would always talk about bathe this way. There is something in that. People don't realize the power, the lost art of bathing.
Bathing and herbs, bathing in
And
herbs.
a lot of people just
Yeah.
be reading
Yeah.
and
And
not
and that's the thing is like you have information that's kept from you. So as soon as you hear it, and it happens like this, is like it becomes popular, so people think it's new. Oh,
Yeah,
everyone's
but it's not
talking about
new.
this, but a lot of people just try to catch on to like the wave of things. So
And
that's why you
not
hear it a lot,
Yeah.
because they don't do it right. But people will say, oh, well, that's this new age thing. This and that. No, it's not new age. You just haven't heard of it.
Yeah, you haven't studied. And by doing those bathing, of course, we don't want to stink. So we do want to take a bath for that reason.
Yeah.
But bathing is more than
more so
just
a
taking
spiritual
a,
reason.
Yeah.
it is very spiritual.
Because if you want to clean yourself, you take a shower.
Shower,
If you
you
wanna
know.
bathe, you do it.
Yes,
for
you
spiritual,
you soak in there. Like
Not
I
with
said, you put,
bubbles.
you know,
with soap,
like
and chemicals.
lemons and bathe in kiwi and put herbs in there and some oils and stuff like that. And in the book, I talk about it while you're bathing. And it's not anything sexual. While you're bathing, massage your body, like massage your calves, speak to your calves, speak to your toes, speak to your arms. You know, massage your belly and stuff like that.
To me,
body,
that's
your
like
body.
relaxation.
Well,
and
no,
just,
you have to
yeah.
But you
understand
know,
we're
this
very
world's been
connected to
twisted.
plants.
Yeah.
And what do? You speak to plants. So you have to speak to your body.
Yes, and we twisted, the world has, society have twisted stuff so much that everything, when you talk about touching yourself, they're thinking,
Oh,
my
God,
God.
they think it's, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
they
that's not it.
sexualize everything.
Yeah.
And I'm
oh
here
my
to just
God.
set the status quo and said, no, we're not talking anything sexual. This is true. You know, be in there, rub the herbs into your body. There is medicinal purpose for that. And a reason why I believe a lot of us or a lot of people have different aches or pains or stuff like that, and you see the world, and everybody says, these diseases didn't used to flourish years ago. Well, that's because we were doing what we were supposed to do. And if we get back to doing some of these things, you will see those things disappear. So the bathing, you know, it is just, it's phenomenal. It's just an experience. And you're not only just bathing, you're praying, you're meditating. You have the aromas. The aromatherapy is just huge. Aromas going, the lighting, the sounds, everything about it is an experience. And it should be. And if you get in your word, if someone tried to challenge me, I would take them to scripture and then say,
That's
you
how
didn't
you
know
do
that
it.
was there?
Yeah.
You know,
have to.
now, you know, thank you for your apology. You know, but
I ain't
it-
got to
like,
explain
oh.
nothing. It's here.
it's
Here's
here.
scriptures
Yes,
right
it's
here.
here.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for all of it. It all has its place.
That's just like when you put Bengay on and you got an ache. You're going to massage it.
So
That
here.
ain't sexual. You're massaging it so it can feel better.
But if you do this on a regular basis, you wouldn't need the bin game.
Exactly.
Well, that's true.
Yes, my favorite part is it's the coloring book.
Oh, my.
So we were told that you can find pieces of us in this book, right? And so I
Okay.
immediately started coloring this one. And I told Katrina, I
Is
said, "Now,"
that you?
I said, this one had to be me because she's in here gardening,
Oh,
I'm a little hippie and I like to
so
garden.
cute.
So she's in here gardening, and I always talk about, having a garden and a farm and all that
Yes.
stuff. I don't know about a big old farm. I know that's a lot of work. So maybe I just have a nice
I
little
got to
plot of
find
land
me.
with some. Yeah, and so, this was, you asked us how we felt when we did this.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many different things. People said so many things. And I loved it because, it kind of, when you're coloring, you're trying to stay in the lines.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So you're being very intentional, and you're looking at everything, and then you're watching the book come to life. Like, if you look at this book, you don't really see everything back here. I didn't even see this really until I start coloring it, and then it kind of shows up.
Yeah.
And so I feel like for many reasons, like, even if your child, you had a bad childhood, you didn't really have a childhood, and you do this and you start coloring, and like your inner child, it heals a part of that.
Yes.
Or even for me, like I've done, I had dolls and everything. I used to love to color. But for me, it was like I was going back to that little girl, and I needed to go back to her to tend to that
Yes.
because I was
Yes.
dealing with something at that time, and I
Yes.
needed to go back and say, hey, everything's going to be okay. And this is going to be you in like a year or two.
Yeah. Yeah. You know
Yes.
what? Little kids, when they color, they just color all out the line. It's so free for them.
Yeah, and it
I
should
love
be.
to watch
Yeah.
my little
Yeah.
great granddaughter color because she
Yeah.
just be all out the line. Just
And it's so cute.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's their vision. They see.
So what was your purpose of doing a coloring book for adults?
That was my question.
Doing a coloring book for
I love
adults. My thought was, like you said, for that little girl, there was a point in time where God had to show me something. When I was going through my healing and my deliverance, and you guys know I get dreams and visions. We've talked about that before. So when I was going through my healing and my deliverance, I was like, Lord, and like I said, I went through most of it by myself because there was no one to trust. This was before the Sheep Palace. One reason why it is now. I had no one to trust. I couldn't just tell people stuff. So when I was going through my healing and deliverance, and I asked the question, I said, where did this enter in? Where did this enter in? So he literally, I fell asleep that night and I woke up, and in these rooms I went in, there was doors, there was numbers on doors, like numbers. It said 12, it said, 16, 3, 2, all that. Each door that I opened up, I seen myself in each of those doors. Like,
was that
literally.
age? The numbers, was it age?
Yes.
Okay.
I opened the door, I seen myself, and when I came out the doors, but I didn't know that as I was opening the doors. As I came out of the vision or dream, I said, what was that? And he was like, you remember the numbers on the door? And I said, yes. He was like, that is the point of entry for every wound. For every wound. You was wounded here because of this. And I remembered, I was like, yeah, I remember that. Some of the stuff I had forgotten. Yeah, I remembered that. Yeah, I remember that. And he was like, I need you to go back to each of those places and heal. Wow. And I was like, wow. And so he showed me, we stop growing at the point of entry. Yeah. Like that 2-year-old girl that was wounded, she was still there. She couldn't grow. So that's where people's personalities, you're like, no, why are they acting all like, because that 2-year-old girl wanted to come.
This and that. Well, yeah, I am. Because I didn't stop growing after 9.
Growing, your growth is stunted at the point of entry. And so I had to go back and I had to heal from all that stuff. And just took that, I mean, like, really. And even now, I'm 56 years old, but I realize that I have a childlike nature. Not because I'm not healed, but because I like to have fun. But I realize that has a lot to do with my calling, because I minister to people in all generations. And he's given me the anointing to be able to minister to older people and younger people. So I do have a childlike nature. I don't have a old like nature. Like, I'm not wanting to get old like that with you.
You know what? That's crazy, because when I was younger, I felt like I was more serious, and I've always heard that too. And it's like I always acted. I was always acting older, I guess, than I was. And I even heard that from like guys I dated. Like, I don't think I could have, kept up with you because you just was so much more mature. But I feel like now that I'm not mature, but I feel like after healing, you kind of have this better spirit about yourself. Yes. And, you're more loose. You don't get mad as fast. You don't. So it's just like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'll joke around and say I'm childish, but it's not that. It's just that I'm enjoying life.
Yeah. And we
and
all
you
should.
can forgive easy.
Oh, yeah. You
because we shouldn't hold on to.
Well, I still don't. I'm just kidding.
Well, we're going to pray over you.
I'll be like, cut off. You're done.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No,
I forgive you, but I moved on.
Yeah, you can cut people off or whatever.
Yeah, but you can forgive them.
Never talk to me
Just
again.
be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't ever talk to me again. Yeah, exactly.
You can.
Nah.
You can.
Nah,
as
yeah,
long
but
as
it
your
just
heart is forgive.
Yeah, I do forgive, but I just be like, because I don't want to, you don't want to deal with the same thing over and over again. If someone's not going to change, you can still forgive them, not be around them, but
at some point they may change.
Yeah. So the coloring book, it has bits and pieces of people's past and future. Like, if I knew them, everybody in that coloring book is were personally made and designed by me, because everybody, people from my past, people that I do business with, there's a little bit of everybody in there. And I tell people, how can it not be? Because that's your life. Your life is filled with doing life with people. So the contents of your life goes into everything you do. So the content of my life went into that. And so as they coloring it, and as people are coloring it and relating to it, they're being reminded that book has been anointed and prayed over. It will heal and deliver you. I promise you that.
And it's something that's not a one and done. I know you said that. You stated that it's not. It's something that you can just go back to and continue.
Exactly. This is like a life book. It's like a life book.
I like that.
You go back over it again. Do it again, because you're always
You'll find
thing
something
is,
new every time.
You do, and you're always healing. So there's no end to it. It's not like, oh, well, I'm healed, so I can stop. No, because I've done that before, and I was right back in the same position.
But as long as we live, we're gonna always.
That's what I'm saying. You're
you're
always gonna continue. So you have to do work daily.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about everything. It's not like you just it's one.
That's
and done.
like with the Bible. You gotta daily read the Bible.
It's a book of life. And so that stuff you take
Daily.
on daily. Sometimes
Because
you
it's maintenance.
Yeah.
It's like it's maintenance.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, you may be healed, but you want to stay healed. So there's a
And you gotta
maintenance
maintain
plan.
it.
You
Yeah.
still have triggers sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
You
And
know,
you
and
got
then
to know
you
how
get
to
into-
handle those triggers.
You get into relationships with people, and you got to learn how to navigate that because that person's mirroring you, and sometimes that brings out other stuff in you that you didn't know that was in there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah,
You do.
well, you know what?
Ooh, this has been
I
good.
know. I love this.
Yeah.
So, go ahead again and tell them where they can find this lovely book.
Okay. They can get it at Stan Store. If you go on Stan Store and then the /sign, and we'll put the link in the thing because it'll be easier for them. But it'll be Katrina Marable. Stan Store, Katrina Marable. And they can also go to my IG and then click the link and find it there.
Link
They can
in
find
bio.
a lot of stuff there. Yeah, I got other books up there, and in our
You
magazines.
got some pretty
I
good
put that-
books, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay, well, we sure did enjoy you, like
Yes, we
always.
did.
Every time we talk, girl, I get some gems. Like this is one of my mentors, and this is one of the people that have definitely helped navigate me through my time here. You know, I moved here over 5 years ago, and you know, I was still like kind of I was going through some things at the time, and I wanted to do this and wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do a show, and I just like I was so enclosed. I had so much fear, and you would talk so much life into me. You say, "Girl," and you would pump me up and say all this other stuff, like, "Girl, you this, you that," and I think to myself, like, "Woman, what are you talking about? Like, y'all known y'all, so y'all known worldwide, y'all this, y'all that. You spoke so much good things, and I didn't see it until like not too long ago. Like, you really have to see it for yourself. It's good to keep telling people that too, but then sometimes it's at some point it clicks.
Yes.
Oh, this is what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And so then when she's still saying it, then you like, okay, I can see it
now.
Yeah, and then you really start getting excited. We and Katrina, we talk. I get so excited. I'm like, okay, she have you thinking that you are just the biggest superstar ever, and it is true.
And I appreciate her
and
for
we
that.
should always look at ourselves that way. And I want to say that I really appreciate you. I appreciate everything you taught me.
I appreciate you guys.
And it's so much more that I know because you are like. Yeah. You are like an encyclopedia, dictionary, everything. I don't know. You
She
just
really is.
you just have a gem up there. You've been through a lot. You've did a lot. Like you've done a lot of
It's
businesses
the gift
and
that God
yeah.
has
So
blessed you with.
I think, and what I really think
He's the
is,
gift giver.
the world really needs to hear what that you have to give.
Yes.
And I feel like it's really important what you're doing now, what you're doing with the She Palace, and I thank you for it. I thank you for everybody that wants to thank you and don't get a chance to. I thank you for them too. And so it was really good having you on again.
And we would love to have you
back,
again because, like she said, you have so much to offer. And we would like the audience to be able to hear some of the things that you have to offer as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I am excited to be here. Thank you guys.
Right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in again. I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope that you go get this book.
Yes, go get it.
And get the coloring on. And Miles is back there with an afro on. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning, whenever you're watching this.
It's a brand new day.